Let me tell you something that will change how you see your journey forever. There comes a moment in every person's life when they must choose between fitting in and standing out, between comfort and truth, between the crowd and their authentic self. This moment separates those who achieve extraordinary success from those who remain ordinary forever. You see, my friend, the most successful people throughout history have all shared one common trait. They had the courage to walk their own path, even when it meant walking alone. They understood that true achievement requires you to step outside the comfortable illusions that keep most people trapped in mediocrity. Here's what nobody tells you about success. The moment you begin to see life clearly, the moment you start thinking for yourself and refusing to accept limitations, you'll notice something profound happening. The people around you will start to feel uncomfortable. Your old friends might drift away. Your family might not understand your new ambitions, and yes, there will be times when you feel absolutely alone in your pursuit of greatness. But let me tell you why this isolation is not your enemy, but your greatest gift. When you commit to personal growth, when you decide to think and grow rich in every area of your life, you're essentially graduating from one level of consciousness to another. It's like a butterfly trying to explain flight to caterpillars. The caterpillars aren't wrong. They're just operating from a different level of understanding. Most people live their entire lives seeking validation from others. They build their relationships on shared complaints, mutual reassurance, and the comfortable exchange of limitations. They gather together to confirm each other's excuses, to reinforce each other's fears, and to justify why their dreams are impossible. But you're different. You've chosen the path of the achiever, the path of the one who dares to dream bigger and act bolder. Napoleon Hill discovered through his interviews with over 500 successful individuals that every great achievement begins with a definite purpose that others might not understand. Andrew Carnegie didn't ask permission to build his steel empire. Henry Ford didn't wait for approval to revolutionize transportation. Thomas Edison didn't seek validation for his crazy idea of electric light. These men understood a fundamental truth. When you're committed to achieving something extraordinary, you must be willing to stand alone with your vision until others can see what you see. This temporary solitude isn't punishment but preparation. It's your mind's way of clearing out the distractions, so you can focus on what truly matters. When you're no longer spending your energy trying to fit in, trying to explain yourself, or trying to make others comfortable with your ambitions, you free up tremendous mental and emotional resources for achievement. Think about it. Every moment you spend seeking approval from people who don't share your vision is a moment stolen from building that vision. Every conversation where you have to justify your dreams to someone who has given up on theirs is energy that could be invested in making those dreams reality. Here's where your real power begins to emerge. When you stop needing others to validate your dreams, when you stop requiring their permission to pursue greatness, when you no longer depend on their approval to feel worthy, that's when you become unstoppable. Most people spend their entire lives as prisoners of other people's opinions. They choose careers based on what others expect. They set goals based on what others think is realistic. They limit their dreams based on what others believe is possible. But not you. You've discovered the secret that every successful person eventually learns. The only opinion that matters is your own. This doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you authentic. This doesn't make you selfish. It makes you self-directed. When you're no longer trying to be everything to everyone, you can finally become everything to yourself. When you stop exhausting yourself trying to maintain relationships built on shared limitations, you create space for relationships built on shared aspirations. Let me make something crystal clear. There's a world of difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is what happens when you abandon yourself to please others. Solitude is what happens when you choose yourself over the crowd. Loneliness is feeling empty because you've given away your power to other people's opinions. Solitude is feeling full because you've reclaimed your power to think, choose, and act independently. The person who feels lonely in a crowd is someone who has lost touch with their authentic self. The person who feels peaceful in solitude is someone who has found their authentic self and refuses to betray it for temporary social comfort. Every great achiever has learned to transform solitude from a source of pain into a source of power. They've learned to use quiet moments not for self-pity, but for self-reflection. They've learned to use alone time not for worry, but for planning. They've learned to use independence not as isolation, but as preparation for the connections that truly matter. Here's a truth that might sting at first, but will liberate you once you accept it. Not everyone in your life is meant to journey with you to your next level. Some people are in your life for a season, some for a reason, and very few for a lifetime. When you start thinking bigger, dreaming bolder, and acting with more intention, you'll naturally outgrow certain relationships. This isn't because you've become a bad person. It's because you've become a growing person. And growing people often have to leave static situations behind. Your old friends might not understand why you'd rather read books than watch television. Your family might not comprehend why you're investing in yourself instead of settling for security. Your social circle might not grasp why you're pursuing your passion instead of accepting what's practical. But their inability to understand your vision doesn't make your vision wrong, but makes it yours. Remember, eagles don't flock. You'll rarely find them in groups because their vision requires them to soar at heights where others can't follow. This doesn't make the eagle lonely but free. When you truly understand your worth, when you truly know your purpose, when you truly trust your vision, something magical happens. You become your own best company. You stop needing constant external stimulation because you've developed rich internal resources. You stop fearing quiet moments because you've learned to enjoy your own thoughts. This is where real strength is born. Not in the approval of others, but in the approval of yourself. Not in the comfort of crowds, but in the confidence of conviction. Not in the safety of conformity, but in the courage of authenticity. The most successful people in history have all mastered this art of being comfortable with themselves. They've learned that the relationship you have with yourself sets the standard for every other relationship in your life. They've discovered that when you truly like who you are, when you truly respect your own decisions, when you truly trust your own judgment, you attract people who appreciate authenticity rather than people who demand conformity. Your period of solitude isn't empty time but preparation time. While others are busy maintaining relationships that drain their energy, you're busy building the skills, habits, and mindset that will create your success. Use this time to study your field. Use this time to develop your talents. Use this time to clarify your vision. Use this time to strengthen your character. Use this time to build the foundation that will support the life you're creating. Napoleon Hill taught us that every great achievement begins in the quiet moments. When nobody is watching, it begins with the thoughts you think when you're alone. It begins with the decisions you make when nobody is there to influence you. It begins with the standards you set when nobody is there to judge you. This is your laboratory time. This is your research and development phase. This is when you're creating the person you need to become in order to achieve what you want to achieve. Don't waste these precious moments feeling sorry for yourself. Use them to prepare yourself. Don't spend this time wishing others understood you. Spend it understanding yourself better. Don't use this period longing for the past, use it to build the future. Here's what will amaze you as you become more comfortable with solitude, as you become more confident in your own company, as you become more committed to your authentic path. You'll start attracting different kinds of people into your life. You'll attract people who are also committed to growth. You'll attract people who appreciate depth over surface conversation. You'll attract people who respect your boundaries because they have strong boundaries of their own. You'll attract people who support your dreams because they're busy building their own dreams. The relationships you build from this place of authenticity will be unlike anything you've experienced before. They won't be based on mutual neediness but on mutual respect. They won't be built on shared complaints but on shared aspirations. They won't require you to diminish yourself to make others comfortable, but will encourage you to expand into your full potential. But this can only happen after you've learned to be complete within yourself. This can only happen after you've stopped looking to others to fill the gaps in your self-esteem. This can only happen after you've become the kind of person who attracts quality relationships. Because you've become a quality person. There's a particular kind of strength that can only be developed in solitude. It's the strength that comes from knowing you can count on yourself. It's the strength that comes from trusting your own judgment. It's the strength that comes from being willing to stand by your convictions, even when everyone else thinks you're wrong. This strength becomes your foundation for everything else you build in life. When you know you can handle being alone, you're never desperate for company. When you know you can make decisions independently, you're never paralyzed by others' disapproval. When you know you can create your own happiness, you're never held hostage by others' moods. Every successful person has had to develop this inner strength. They've had to learn to trust themselves more than they trust the crowd. They've had to learn to believe in their vision more than they believe in others' limitations. They've had to learn to act on their convictions more than they react to others' opinions. This is your graduation into true adulthood. This is your initiation into authentic leadership. This is your transformation from someone who follows the masses to someone who creates their own path. Yes, choosing the path of authentic success might mean temporary loneliness, yes. It might mean some people don't understand you for a while. Yes, it might mean you have to get comfortable with your own company while you're building the life you want. But consider the alternative. Spending your entire life trying to fit in with people who've given up on their dreams, spending decades seeking approval from people who don't even approve of themselves. Wasting your precious time and energy maintaining relationships that require you to stay small. The temporary discomfort of standing alone is nothing compared to the permanent regret of never discovering what you're truly capable of achieving. The momentary sadness of outgrowing certain relationships is nothing compared to the lasting fulfillment of building a life that truly reflects your values and aspirations. Remember, every person who has ever achieved anything significant has had to make this choice. They've had to choose growth over comfort, authenticity over approval, progress over popularity. And in every case, the rewards of that choice far exceeded the temporary costs. When you reach the summit of your own personal mountain, when you've built the success you envisioned during those quiet moments of preparation, you'll understand why the journey required solitude. You'll see that every person who doubted you, every friend who drifted away, every moment of loneliness was actually clearing the path for your ascent. From that vantage point, you'll also see something beautiful: other climbers on their own mountains. People who, like you, had the courage to leave the valley of conformity to pursue the peaks of their potential. These are your true peers, not the people who shared your zip code or your past, but the people who share your commitment to growth and authenticity. You'll discover that the view from your authentic success is worth every step of the solitary climb. You'll realize that the person you became during those quiet moments of self-development is more valuable than any relationship you might have maintained by staying small. So here's what I want you to understand. If you're feeling alone in your pursuit of something greater, you're not isolated but initiated. If your old friends don't understand your new ambitions, you're not losing connections, but making room for better ones. If your family questions your unconventional choices, you're not disappointing them, but demonstrating what's possible. When someone has the courage to think for themselves. Your willingness to stand alone when necessary is not a weakness, but your greatest strength. Your ability to find peace in solitude is not a limitation, but your secret weapon. Your commitment to authentic success, even when others don't understand it, is not selfishness but the highest form of self-respect. Don't you dare apologize for outgrowing people, situations, or beliefs that no longer serve your growth. Don't you dare shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Don't you dare abandon your dreams, because the path requires you to walk alone for a while. Instead, embrace this phase of your journey. Use it to become the person you need to be to achieve what you want to achieve. Use it to develop the strength, clarity, and confidence that will serve you for the rest of your life. Use it to prove to yourself that you can count on yourself when it matters most. The world needs what you have to offer, but it needs the authentic version of you, not the watered-down version that tries to please everyone. The world needs your unique vision, but only if you have the courage to pursue it regardless of who understands it initially. So spread those wings. Soar to the heights you were meant to reach. And remember, eagles may fly alone, but they fly higher than any other bird in the sky. The summit is waiting for you. The only question is, do you have the courage to climb it, even if you have to climb it alone?